Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Swing Good Torah. We're going to talk about Lag BaOmer, the students of Rabbi Akiva, and how this possibly may relate to the spiritual root of the coronavirus, this pandemic we're seeing across the world. So this Torah should be in the merit, the healing of my great aunt, my godmother. She's been in the hospital for weeks now with this horrible coronavirus, and it should be a Refuah Shleimah for Sarah Rosel, Dinah Shifrah. For all the people that are suffering from this coronavirus, it should be a Refuah Shleimah for Rav Moshe ben Sarah and for Rav Peretz Avraham ben Gittel. Everyone that needs a healing this time, and we're going this beautiful day of Lag BaOmer, and we're going to show how it's the end of a plague. And we're going to show what is the power, the spiritual power of Lag BaOmer, and how it stopped the plague. Okay, so Rabbi Akiva, he's famous for a very famous teaching. And without Rabbi Akiva, there would be no Torah. The Masorah, the chain of Torah, would be broken. And Rabbi Akiva, he had 24,000 students, and they all died for the first 32 days of the Omer. And the Lag BaOmer, which is the 33rd day of the Omer, the plague stopped. So we're going to see what is the power of Lag BaOmer that this plague stopped on Lag BaOmer. And Rabbi Akiva, he continued everything with 5 students. He continued the Torah with 5 students. And one of his famous students is Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, who wrote the Zohar. And we're going to talk about how he went on to write the Zohar, and it's the mystical teachings of the Torah. Okay, so what was happening? Why was Rabbi Akiva's students, why were they dying? What was this plague all about? And the root of the plague was that they weren't respecting each other. They were all Talmidei Achamim, they were students of the Torah, but they weren't giving respect to each other. And 24,000 of his students died until Lag BaOmer, and then the plague stopped. So Rabbi Akiva, it's interesting, he's famous for his famous teaching, Klal Gadol b'Torah. The great rule of the Torah is V'achavta le're'echa kamocha. Love your friend like yourself. And that's one of the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah. And this was the essence of Rabbi Akiva's teaching. But it's interesting, because how can you have love without respect? If you love someone, if you love yourself, you treat yourself with kavod, with respect. And if you love your friend, you treat him with respect. And especially a fellow student of the Torah. And it's just hard to imagine how these students of the Torah, and how they could not treat each other with respect. Now, my neighbor, Rabbi Ephraim Lewin, he said something very fascinating. He says this coronavirus is called the COVID-19. And COVID, if you look at it in Lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew, it has the same letters as kavod, as honor. And it could be that the spiritual root of this illness is that people are not treating each other with kavod, with respect. People are arguing about all kinds of crazy things, especially politics. It's become so divisive. And everything that happens is put into this political sphere and just dividing people. People are arguing, not treating each other with respect. Even if you don't agree with someone politically, who cares? Who cares if it's this corrupt politician or that corrupt politician? Hashem, the infinite being who's created it all, runs the world. There's one infinite being that loves everyone, has created everyone with love. And we should all look at each other. That everyone is created with the Selam Elokim, that they have a neshama, a soul that's in the image of Hashem. And there's a great spiritual elevation. So we're going to see that Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai in the Zohar, he taught us the secrets of the Torah. And we're going to see how this all happened. And it elevates us, and it teaches that we're more than just these physical bodies, and that we're spiritual beings. Now, what is the power of Lag BaOmer? It's interesting. So, every day for these 49 days, from the second night of Pesach, the second night of Passover, until Shavuos, the day we'll receive the Torah, all of it is preparation. We're preparing ourselves to receive the Torah, and we're working on all our personal characteristics. We're fixing our midos. And the day of Lag BaOmer, it's a fascinating day. It's Hod Shebahod. Now, what is Hod? Hod is related to Hodah, to thanks. And when we're thankful to Hashem for always giving us, and we're thankful to our family, and we're thankful to our friends for all they're doing for us, we start to treat each other with respect. And when we have that lack of Hodah, that lack of thanks, we start to treat each other poorly. Another thing, Hod, it means empathy. So it's fascinating. So this day of Lag BaOmer, it's empathy in empathy. And it's pulling ourselves back. First step is Gevurah, the self-control, the discipline, the strength. We pull ourselves back. And when we take our ego out of the picture, we start to think about what are the needs of others. And when we start to think about what the needs of others, we start to think about our needs. And it makes us more thankful, and it makes us more empathetic to each other. And that power of empathy, what breaks this lack of respect is what was killing the students of Rabbi Akiva. But on Lag BaOmer, we break through that, the day of Hod Shebahod, the day of empathy, and we're thankful, and we start to have respect for each other, and we start to be empathetic to what other people need. And when we start worrying about what other people need as opposed to what we need, it breaks through that plague that was killing the students of Rabbi Akiva. Now, Lag BaOmer is also the York site of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. So who was Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai? So he was one of the 5 main students of Rabbi Akiva. So after these 24 students were nifter, Rabbi Akiva began again with 5 special students. Now, Rabbi Shimon, he got in an argument with two other rabbis. I think one rabbi is Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim, and he was praising the Roman Empire and saying how amazing the Roman Empire was, how they built these roads and these bathhouses and all these amazing things the Romans did. I think there was also Rabbi Yossi who remained silent. And Rabbi Akiva said, no, that's not the essence of what they're doing. They're doing it for selfish reasons. So Rabbi Shimon and his son Rabbi Elazar, they were forced to run away because the Romans were trying to kill him. And they retreated to this cave. And they hid out in this cave for 13 years. Now, in the cave, Eliyahu HaNavi, Elijah the prophet, came to them every day. Maybe even it says in the Tikkuni Zohar, the Tikkuni Zohar in the Hakdam and the forward, that he taught them maybe twice a day. And he was teaching them the highest levels of Torah, the secrets of the Torah. And the essence of this, the essence of Hod, the essence of the day, the person that most personified the aspect, the Sephira of Hod, was Aaron HaKohen. Aaron, the brother of Moshe, the brother of Moses, the Kohen Gadol, the high priest. And the quality that Aaron had was that he was a Rodef Shalom, that he was a pursuer of peace. And he would do anything to bring peace between people. Even when there's this famous midrash, a husband and wife was arguing, and he got them to stop arguing by telling the husband, I think, or one of them, to spit in his face. And he told one, oh, he really loves you. He'll even spit in the face of the Kohen Gadol. And then he told the other, he says, I have this eye problem. I need you to spit in my face. And he brought peace. He was willing to have himself be spit in the face to bring shalom bayis, to bring peace between a husband and wife. And that's why Aaron HaKohen is this Rodef Shalom. And that's also the essence of Hod. It's pursuing peace. It's treating each other with respect and love. And it's the teaching of Rabbi Akiva that we should love our friend like ourselves, the great mitzvah of the Torah. And that when we treat each other with love and respect, that's when we reach the shalom bayis between our wife, our husband, our children, our friends, and our family. And it's the essence and it's the secret of Lag BaOmer, and it unlocks the secrets of the Torah. So when we're kind to each other, when we're respecting each other, it can unlock the greatest mysteries of the Torah. And that's the power of Lag BaOmer. So Bezrat Hashem, we can break this coronavirus. It seems that Hashem has locked everyone away, quarantined everyone away, saying take a time out, separate from each other. Think of how you need to treat each other correctly. Stop arguing over silly things and start treating each other with the love and the respect. And that's the power of Lag BaOmer. And that is, I believe, the spiritual root of what will break this coronavirus, and we can get this thing out of the world. And may everyone who needs a Refuah Shleimah, Hashem speedily send them a healing from this pandemic and from any other illness you're suffering. Have a great Lag BaOmer. We should all be blessed to look into the light and the brilliance of the Torah and enjoy the teachings of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai and the amazing mysteries of the Torah and the Zohar. Thank you very much. I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.